So hello everyone, and thanks for staying up to the last session. For those who don't know me, I'm French. That's the Extensibility. My name is Yoann Gini. I'm working as IT, sysadmin, network admin, and some kind of software development also. And I'm here to talk with you about one of the tools I made for the community called HelloIT. Yeah, there is a few users here. HelloIT is basically a self-service menu that can be completely configured by MDM. So you can put anything you want inside to basically serve your end user all kind of self-service feature, and it has been designed to be extensible with any kind of code. Here is, for example, here is some example of what people have done with it. So you can clearly make it look the way you want and add information that you need. Information for inventory and assistant purpose, like what is your current IP address, something like that. But also reporting state to the end user. So for example, does your devices correctly reach the internet or reach some internal services? Or eventually, you can import some global state to be displayed inside with Compose HQ, for example. So basically, there is no limit of what you can do. Right now, I don't collect any kind of statistic, so I have no idea how many people are actually using it. But from the statistic on GitHub about the download state of each release is around 5,000 download. So it seems that some people are using it, actually. And in terms of customization, every single thing can be customized up to eventually the small logo you set in the system tray. So basically, you can put your own company logo to integrate correctly and have all kind of design made correctly to match your company behavior. In terms of capabilities, you can clearly do anything you want. Here is an example of what I did with HelloIT for one of my customers. The context was a whole fleet of devices managed only with Monkey. And we wanted to enroll all the devices on MDM, relying on DEP, but DEP post-deployment. So, and to add it to the complexity, all users were standard. So, using HelloIT, we have been able to simply, with Monkey, deploy some config in HelloIT to have this enroll your Mac button that trigger the DEP enrollment post setup assistant to enroll your Mac with DEP in by linking the local account to the MDM and managing the devices directly. So that's one of the kind of thing you can do with it, but there is basically no limit. Since you can run the code you want behind, it's up to you to decide what you want to do with it. So it can be an assistive tool, it can be a reporting tool, whatever you want. Basically, it's based on function. So there is a lot of built-in function to handle most general needs, like showing a title, doing a test on an HTTP service, looking at the state of your Active Directory password if you are using AD, for example. So what you were used to do back in time with AD passmon, you can do it with HelloIT. And those functions will end up somehow in the application preferences. So with your MDM or any kind of management solution that you use, you will provide to the bundle ID of HelloIT a list of function and settings per function to use. and in an array, basically, to configure it the way you want. So for example, in the initial array, you can have something like that. A dictionary specifying the function you want to load. And for this function specifically, the settings you want to associate with this specific instance. So if you have multiple instances of the test HTTP function, you will have different settings payload. And for example, with the test HTTP function, you have the target payload, the target part in the payload, like which URL I want to test, what will be the validation method, MD5, pattern searching inside, etc., and the value to compare with. So for example, here, it will load the page, do MD5 checksum, and check if the checksum is the same as the one we planned. And eventually, depending on the function, you may have some repeat capabilities to say, okay, I want this function to run every 60 seconds to check if my internet is still available. And depending on the function, you may also have some automatic run done for you. So for example, since the test HTTP feature is related to network, automatically LOIT will run it at each network stage exchange on the system itself. And eventually you have some title to add, so what will be the name of the item in the list. And since I'm French, all labels are localizable the way you want. So yeah, thanks. Basically, you can localize with language or language and local. So American gets center and UK gets cent. These are the basic functions you have inside, but there is a way to extend the capability of LOIT to match your need. One of the ways to go beyond the built-in function is with a function called script item. Basically, it can interact with any kind of binary on the system that can accept argument in command line, in environment variable, and that can return some text on the standard output. So any kind of code can be used. Basically, the scripted items has a script option, and this will be the name of the script to run. And by default, if you want to use the simplest option, it should be in library application support com.github.ygini.loit/custom script. This is the location for all general scripts, the one distributed with LOIT, and eventually your custom one. But there is also other option if you want to deploy it another path, you can specify the full path of your script. And when you are using scripted item, there is verb-based option. So the first argument on the command line will be one of those, run. This means the user has clicked on your item in the menu. Periodic run, this is when you are asking your LOIT to run it every 60 seconds. So you will be aware that you are in a specific context of a periodic run. Network, if you have requested your scripted item to be informed in case of any network change, the context will be network. Notification, if you send a notification with your script and the user click on the notification itself, you will get this specific feedback. And title, when LOIT asking you for the dynamic title to load on the item itself. When it refresh, it will ask for a specific context, give me the title that I should display. And you can also have your own option to pass. So in the setting payload, you will have another dictionary inside called option, where basically there is each item on the command line you want to add, dash format %C, for example. But this will not be directly included in the command line itself. To simplify the work on the argument on the command line, you only have one argument with the context. And in an environment variable, you will have in LOIT option variable all the string you pass as option. So that means you can have one simple script that can do multiple things depending on how you configure it in your system. Those are the way this is a way for LOIT to pass information to your script. And there is a way, the way back. So having LOIT, your script passing information to LOIT. So basically, it relies on the standard output. And if you have one of those prefixes, like LOIT plugin dash title colon, what is after the colon will end up in your title. There is everything needed to interact with LOIT feature. So change the title, the state, enable it, add a check, hide it if you want to hide it in some scenarios, send some notifications, set the tooltip, etc. And there is also the log part. Every single module in LOIT has a lot of log features that rely on the Apple system for the logs. So it ends up in console. And so you can correctly interact with LOIT and your script to have your script logs properly integrated into LOIT logs feeds that you can get into from the console. This is the information you need if you want to write your own scripted item or binary with any kind of solutions that you want. To make things more simple to do, there is also some kind of bash libraries that I provide with LOIT and some built-in function that you have to overload or use in your bash script. So you basically load the bash script library at first, and then you have other thing on the left column are the function you can overload to get action requested by LOIT to your script. You have on the middle column all the operation you can do easily, and then all the log you want to send. So for example, one of the script could be this one. I load my script library, sorry. On network action, I will check is the test of the network successful or not. If it is, I will show my item and send a notification to the user, well, do you want to hear a dad joke? And if the network is not available, I will simply hide the item. Since it's relying on a web service, I will not offer the option if it's not available. I have the shared function to ask the Mac to speak. And I have two other functions who are overload of the bash library, on-click action and from notification action. That's what I am expecting from my script to do when I click on the item or when I click on the notification I just previously sent. And that's all. I end up with standard two-line, main and argument. So main is something provided by the script library, and I exit nicely. To load the script into LOIT, I just need to distribute it at the right path and load a function into my preference as a public script item that will require network information. So each time the network changes, LOIT will inform the script. And that will specify, okay, the script name is dadjoke.sh, and the title is tell me a dad joke. So if I look at the result of those two things, the script and the setup payload into LOIT settings, the user experience will be that one.
Did you hear about the kidnapping at school? It's okay, he woke up.
And the same from the network state. So LOIT is gray. It was
a
network
skeleton
off.
Walked into a bar. He said, I need a beer, and come up.
Yeah, that's basically it. So that's the kind of user experience you can expect, having event-based information based on the network, or eventually some other thing, and action available to the end user to do whatever you need for your work. But there is a little bit more. Basically, LOIT has been built to be fully extensible. And if there is something you can't do with the scripted item, actually there is a framework inside LOIT called LOIT Developer Kit. And all the functions I have included in LOIT are made with this specific framework. So it has been made to be extensible the way you need. And so when you are requesting to use public.test.http function, LOIT will look for a plugin that provides this specific function on those three paths. The LOIT plugin in the user library, in the computer library, and built-in in the app. That means you can replace every public function you want by your own implementation if you have any kind of specific needs. One thing could be, for example, to replace the function that provides a submenu to completely change the way the user interface is built, and eventually may do something with pop-up or whatever. You can completely customize this. Or you can change eventually the implementation of a public function, or you can create your own and provide it distributed to the whole system to have your own plugin with all Cocoa feature and Swift feature and whatever you need to achieve it if it's not possible with the scripted item. The documentation is globally full, I think. There is everything you need to start with LOIT. So to deploy it in a simple way, to interact with native function, and up to the documentation needed to write your own script, or eventually write your own function directly. There is a small community, I would say, around the project right now, with some people who helped a lot doing command line tool to kick off some settings, who made also the lot of all the graphics who has been done. It's not me. I'm not able to do any kind of graphics. So someone else did it, thanks. And there is on a Slack channel, basically, with all kind of information needed and exchange between all persons who are using this product right now. So that's basically all. I've tried to make some space for question if you have, so feel free.
Any questions? Questions?
Wait.
What is a microphone? Alex?
Yeah.
On the last slide, I thought I saw something that said, let the user agent be an admin for 30 minutes. What mechanism were you using for that?
So it's simply a script run by LOIT, was the right to execute a specific command line as a sudo else without password that will add some kind of groups, AD-based or staff simply, to the admin, and running as a service behind. So in 30 minutes, it will run again and remove it from the admin group. Okay. And this is a plugin, a payload for LOIT that I publish on my GitHub also. It's not included into LOIT. So basically, in LOIT, what I distribute in the package are simple scripts. Nothing will play with sudo or whatever. And there is another GitHub repo dedicated to this specific plugin for LOIT for those who want to handle admin on demand with automatic write removal, even if the user closes the session or whatever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions, guys? All right.
Okay. Thanks.